actually got the opportunity to go and study sports business. And when you finished with your course, your first role, you got to intern with UEFA, right? So can you tell me a little about your experience there? I know that for people watching that, Vaidehi has actually written a research project for them, which is the evaluation of potential of women's football in India. So if you could share like a few insights that you got while doing this project on women's football in India.
Yeah, okay. So my course, which is Football Industries MBA, FIMBA for short, it has work-based projects for last 3 months. So you're supposed to do either internship for last 3 months or do your dissertation for last 3 months. And luckily for me, both the things combined. You know, I was always interested in women's football at that point, and I wasn't particularly looking for internship with UEFA. I So we have this yearly visit to UEFA campus through our course, and during that time, I just inquired about how they handle women's football in Europe in general and what they do to develop women's football right from grassroots to professional level.
Yeah.
And they kind of realize that I have this interest in women's football and want to do something in that field particularly. And when the time came to find a project, uh, obviously everybody was searching for a good one, and I also had a few more opportunities to look at in different UK clubs. But at that time, my gut was telling me to wait. And I waited, and I got a call from UEFA saying that there is this Asian company
Yeah.
and they want to do a project on women's football. Will you be interested in talking to them? And this will be funded by UEFA, basically. So obviously I was intrigued, and I immediately said yes, because this is something that I always wanted to do. It was a subject of my interest, and plus was UEFA was funding it, right?
Yeah.
So how can I say no? And I did it, and it took me back to my own country, India, and it made me travel across the country from cities to rural areas where there's no electricity. And I kind of realized that being a city girl, uh, we are used, or city people, I would say, we are used to having a lot of things, and we take a lot of things for granted, right? But as you move away from cities, things are not so easy. And
Okay.
things are moreover not so easy for girls who are in those rural areas. So first shock for me was the attire, right? We in cities, girls often wear jeans, t-shirts, and when we are playing, we are used to wearing shorts and sports attire in short.
Yeah.
But as you move away from city, you will see that there are a lot of restrictions on the attire. So I realized that a lot of girls stop playing after hitting puberty because they are not allowed to wear sports attire. It can be shorts, it can be tracksuit. They are not allowed to wear that. They are only allowed to wear probably a Punjabi dress or sari to an extent. So
Yeah.
that is a big I won't say obstacle, but it stops girls from playing,
Yeah.
and it stops them from playing in an age where they are supposed to develop
Yeah.
their
Exactly.
sporting abilities. So I think that was a big shock for me. The second shock or second realization is, obviously India is diverse and our states are divided by language, which I'm really proud of. But sometimes it kind of hampers conversation between two players, right? So if somebody from South India and somebody from Northeast India come together in
Yeah.
a team, they won't be able to understand each other,
Yeah.
right? So that is one of the obstacles, or that is something that stops people from coming together and performing well. Because if you can't understand each other on ground, how are you going to perform well? So that is something that I started thinking about a lot. So these are apparently small things, but they matter a lot when it comes to sports, right? So this is something I wouldn't have realized if I hadn't done that research. So I think doing that research was one of the best things that I did, and it kind of it's like a route to why I started Women in Sport India later.
Nice.
So it's like a fuel to what I'm doing right now also.
So I was kind of wondering. I was kind of wondering. So when you did this research project, it would have been before the IWL got introduced in India, right? So from that period of time to now, do you see any changes at least?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think a lot of local leagues have started for women.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I came back to India, this was about 6 to 7 years ago, I think, 2013, so 7 years ago.
Yeah.
There were no leagues in Pune, zero, and there were about only 2 or 3 clubs which had women's teams. But now, if you see, there is a league domestically or locally, and about 16 clubs participate in that local league, which is substantial amount of clubs participating in a local league.
Wait, you have 16 teams in your women's league in Pune?
Women's league, and that
Wow.
too in one district.
That's more than our entire country league.
But if you go to Mumbai, you will see more number of clubs participating in women's tournament. I think Mumbai's league is one of the best in India, and because of this, women participation has increased, obviously. And then there are obviously a rise of IWL, which is good thing for women, and it is a great place for women to showcase their talent as well. And to my surprise, India has absolutely amazing women talent in football specifically. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, and you will be able to see on a lot of platforms like ISL. They are broadcasting under 17 leagues. You will be able to see how quick they are, how fast they move, how they plan their game properly and execute as well. This is something that I hadn't seen earlier. So in last 7 years, which is really a short period, honestly, I've seen tremendous progress in women's football and in women's sport in general. So there is.